Good morning and thanks for joining us. I'm Veronica Miller and this is Goodwill, Minnesota's Tell Me Something Good. Yes, it has a new name, Tell Me Something Good, but we still share with you the good that's happening in our community. But we even have more good news to share because from now on, after this show, if you want to hear more about these wonderful guests and their organizations and what services they provide in our community, tune in to WSRQ at 11 o'clock. And then, yes, also, we'll have more information on Suncoast Living, the magazine. So we are making sure that we are providing good in this community and for you to find these resources. So with that, we also have fabulous people that I definitely want to share with you. Today is a new format. We're focusing on an issue. And I'll be honest, it was one of those quotes that just got to me. And it said, 1 in 5 children in our community is growing up beneath the poverty level. I was really, really sad with that information. So we put together some experts in telling you, the community, what resources are available in helping those children and how you can get involved. We have Pam Hawn, the Executive Director of Hope Kids Community. Very wonderful program. We also have Khleif, founder of the Tiny Hands Foundation, which I'm going to talk about also because that was my very first introduction into this community. And Kirsten Russell from the Community Foundation, but she's wearing a few hats today. So why don't we start with you?
Okay, that sounds great. So we're talking a little bit about summer and what happens in the summer, and statistically speaking, 80% of low-income students across the country are very behind, and they're not tracking to read on grade level by 3rd grade. We are really lucky in this country to have a big initiative called the Campaign for Grade Level Reading. And the Community Foundation of Sarasota has gotten involved in this because what they are sharing and what they are doing and bringing to light across the country is really important. In Sarasota County alone, I know many of you know, but many people don't, 50% of our students here are on free or reduced lunch. So that's a very high number, and we don't often think of that in Sarasota County. And what that means is that those children often don't have the resources that their more affluent peers have. What the Campaign for Grade Level Reading highlights is 3 areas that students really need to focus on, and organizations can focus on, to help these students who are behind achieve reading on grade level by 3rd grade. It's a milestone time in a child's life. Up until 3rd grade, they're learning to read. After 3rd grade, they're reading to learn. You can't make that transition if you don't read by 3rd grade. There are 3 essential components to that. One is being ready for school readiness, which starts well before kindergarten, but we look at that kindergarten moment as, are they tracking ready to begin to learn? Attendance. So many kids are absent chronically, more than 21 days a year. You can't learn if you're not there to learn. And summer learning loss. So what we know is that low-income students are 30 million words behind their peers by 3 years old. And that gap continues to grow if they don't have resources or programming. Then they're behind when they start kindergarten. Every summer, they fall further behind. So we know all kids actually dip a little bit in math over the summer, but in the summer months, the more affluent children are exposed to reading. They read with their parents, they read books, they go to the library, they're in summer programs, whereas the low-income students who don't have access to those resources, their parents can't afford summer. We know it costs a little bit under $1,000 for a family to quote-unquote afford summer. So they continue to fall behind. They're already behind. Over the summer months, they will fall another 2 months or so behind, which means by 5th grade, the average low-income student is between 2 to 3 years behind their more affluent peers. So summer becomes a really critical time for these kids. In Sarasota County, the Community Foundation has been very involved in literacy and promoting literacy and education. We have 2 donors who are really, we have Mrs. Noby, who is focused on education, so we have a nice fund from her, and Mr. Roberts, who focuses on single moms. So the marrying of those 2 donors has brought many funds, made it available to put in place programs for a lot of these children. We have been partnering with lots of organizations. It is amazing what the nonprofit organizations in this community do and their belief in these children and families. Community Foundation looks at everything through the 2-gen lens. So there's the Campaign for Grade Level Reading here for Sarasota falls under the Suncoast Campaign for Grade Level Reading, which is basically housed with the Patterson Foundation. And we at the Community Foundation looked at the research in this community and determined that there are 4 schools, 4 elementary schools, with the highest number of children on free and reduced lunch. So that's Alta Vista Elementary, Emma E. Booker, Gosio, and Tuttle. And within that, they all have, I told you earlier, 50% of the students in Sarasota County are on free and reduced lunch. At those schools, it's 90% and greater.
Wow.
So their needs, their resources that they need are they're huge. So to fill that gap, we started looking at, through donors and other individuals who kind of brought some things to light, we've been working with Alta Vista Elementary School now for 4 years. I think we're on our 5th year now on a summer program called the Eagle Academy. So what we know is that a 6-week program in the summer will actually mitigate a lot of the summer learning loss and the slide that occurs. So Alta Vista has been doing this. They started in 2012 with entering kindergartners. I believe they had about 50 to 60 children. Now it is entering kindergarten through entering 3rd graders. They have about 350 students this summer. Those students come for a morning of academic structure. They do math, they do reading. The teachers are they're the same teachers that they'll work with throughout the school year, so they develop those relationships with the entering kindergartners. And they'll work to assess where their deficiencies are, what their challenges are, to keep them on track to read on grade level by 3rd grade. The tremendous news is that in 2014, when the FCAT scores came back, we saw Alta Vista's numbers grow by 20%. So they moved from about 50 some odd percent of children reading on grade level to 70% reading on grade level, or 73 I think it was. And that is significant for so many reasons. We know if children read on grade level by 3rd grade, that they are more apt to graduate from college and go on with a career focus. Those who don't read on grade level by 3rd grade they're 75% more likely not to graduate from high school. So these statistics, really direct a lot of the work that we're doing, and outcomes are important. We want to make sure that our donors are giving to programs where they're seeing the outcomes that we're looking for these families. And one of the unique components to what Alta Vista is doing is it's not just for the kids, it's for the parents too. So in the summer, they have every Thursday night a parent academy, a parent university, and they can take anything from courses to become a CNA to forklifting. There's a huge need in the community, jobs for forklifting, so they'll do some training in that area. So whatever, they work very closely with the schools to figure out, what are the career goals that these families can have, how can we help them meet them. And this year we're so excited that all of this work isn't done without partners, and we have a wonderful relationship with the Sarasota County Schools. They have seen the results at Alta Vista, and they are taking that program to Tuttle, Gosio, and Emma E. Brooker. So all entering kindergartners will have the opportunity for a 7-week learning program for free. There's no cost to these students to participate, and there'll be a parent component as well.
Can they go on your website to find more information about this?
If you visit our website, there's lots of information about what we're doing, and you can certainly call us and we can get you more. So.
Oh, and it's so needed. But those statistics are just heart-wrenching, knowing that when I first moved here, it's a very affluent area. So when I first was introduced to Newtown and different areas, I was like, wow, because out of sight, out of mind, but it's not. It's here, and everyone can help. So volunteers, resources, financial resources, anything to help with this summer loss program is important.
Yes, and the Suncoast campaign for grade level reading does have many volunteer opportunities as well.
Oh, awesome. And speaking of volunteering and helping these children, you know, academics is extremely important, and getting ready for school. I know it's summer right now, but it's in the back of many minds of parents who are living in poverty, you know, getting them ready, putting money aside, you know, simple things that we take for granted. But Pam Hawn from Hope Kids Community has put together an amazing program. Why don't you talk about it?
Thank you. Hope Kids Community is best known for their Day of Hope. It's a back-to-school readiness program, and we partner the local church with the local elementary school, and we work directly through the guidance counselor to find out who the homeless kids are, as well as the free lunch kids. And we prepare a back-to-school event for them where they get their medical exam, they get a dental checkup with cleaning instruction and a fluoride treatment, they get their back-to-school haircut, they get their family portrait as well as their back-to-school picture. They get a backpack filled with school supplies, a care bag of personal care items that we take for granted, like soap and shampoo. They get a $50 gift card to Old Navy for clothes or the uniform, because a lot of the public schools are going to the uniform. They get a $25 gift card to pay less for new shoes. We feed them throughout the day. It's a great event. We work directly with the guidance counselors, and we trust their discernment to know which kids need the program most. We've got many of the schools that Kirsten had mentioned, which is great. And it's about building relationships with these kids. So when we first started the program in 2009 and we realized that there was a need, we wanted to make sure we weren't duplicating any efforts in the community. And we did our research and found out that on any given night, we can have anywhere from 800 to 1,000 homeless kids in Sarasota County, which when I heard that number, I got so sad, and it became my holy discontent just to do something to help these kids. And one of the things that we learned through these families was the thing the child struggles with the most is their self-esteem. And I don't know, for those of you who have children, but I can still remember, my oldest is 23 now, and I can still remember his first day at kindergarten like it was yesterday. And he stood at that front door and he looked like he could bust it down and tackle the world because his self-esteem was high. He was in a brand new back-to-school outfit, brand new shoes, teeth were cleaned, hair was cut. I mean, he felt so good about himself. And that's what we want for these kids. We want them to start the first day of school on an even playing field to their peers so that they start the first day of school with everything the kid who has everything has. And we believe if they can start that first day that way and feel good about themselves, then they're going to want to be in school. They're not going to pretend to be sick or cut classes. They're going to be there. Well, if their attendance is good, then we know their grades are better. And if their grades are better, then we know graduation rate is better. And this is our next generation. I mean, this is our next community foundation leaders and our next ministry leaders. We've got to pour into this generation. They need us desperately. And the cool thing about our program is it's not a one-touch event. We don't do this great back-to-school event for them, pat ourselves on the back, feel good, and never see these kids again. It's about building relationships between the school and the families and the church. So we are seeing these beautiful marriages all over the community happen between a church and a school, where the church might do a fall festival in October for the whole school or the families, Thanksgiving dinner, or prepare Thanksgiving baskets to bring to the families, Christmas gifts. One of the things we get from the families when they register is the child's birthday. So to drop a card in the mail on that child's birthday, how exciting is that for a child to get a piece of mail? The churches have gone into the schools and said, okay, how can we help? You know, we have hundreds of volunteers ready to serve. So you may have lunch with a child whose mom is working 2 and 3 jobs and never gets to have lunch, and her Her friend's mom is there every day having lunch, you know. Help in a reading program after school. We have volunteers capable and ready to do that. We've had churches go in and tune all the instruments in the music department because budget in the county is not available for that. Well, every church has a worship team that knows how to do that. Or plant a garden or paint a classroom. Invite them to the church for shows and Sunday school and youth groups. So it's just creating that relationship. And it's really neat because over the years we have literally seen churches that repeat this year after year and pour into these same families. We have seen families moved into housing. We have seen families get jobs. We have seen cars get repaired. It's just amazing what we can do when we link arms and work as a community. And we appreciate so much all of our community partners, one of them being Goodwill. Minnesota was so thankful for that. We have a great partnership with Sarasota County School Board, as well as the Community Foundation and Tiny Hands, both represented here today. All Faiths Food Bank is amazing. They give just thousands and thousands of pounds of food for us to give to our families. So it's a community effort. We have the fire department come to all of our events and do fire safety. We have the police and sheriff come and do the child ID and fingerprinting cards. So it's a great all-encompassing day.
So how can someone sign up for this?
Yeah, so we definitely need professional volunteers are the most needed, which is doctors, nurses, dentists, hygienists, hairstylists, barbers, and photographers. Also sponsoring of a child. It's about $100 to sponsor a child to do our event. We have about 2,000 coming this summer, but the need is greater than that, and we can accommodate if the funding. And you can go to our website. It's hopekc.org, and you can contact me there and fill out all the information you need.
You know, it's beautiful. Pam is the founder of this organization, and when I see people who see or read, a statistic and have the epiphany to say, I can make this change, that is so heartwarming because everything you said, literally, I was tearing up because it is so important. The self-esteem, the simple things we take for granted. So I applaud everything that you're doing, and I hope everyone that's watching literally wants to make a difference and go into the website hopekc.org and again find out more information. Meet Pam. You're going to fall in love with her, and you're going to definitely help support this amazing initiative. And speaking of someone else who wanted to just dive in and make a difference in this community is Rod Khleif.
Can I interrupt you? I'm just so amazed by all the things you guys do. I had no idea it was that many things. That's just, I'm stunned.
Down to the medical,
I'm stunned.
everything.
That is, yeah, just, I need to step it up a notch. I'm just really impressed. I just want to tell you that. Yeah. Anyway, please.
No, now it's your turn.
It's my turn. Okay, well, my name's Rod Khleif. I'm with the Tiny Hands Foundation, and back in 2000, my brother and I decided we were going to feed 5 families for Thanksgiving. And so we went shopping, had a lot of fun, bought groceries, and we found 5 families through a church. And one of the families, I remember going up to the door, and the mother came out and saw the food, and she started crying. And then her 5 children came out, and they all started crying. And I was hooked. So I took it upon myself for the next several years and doubled it every year. We did 50 the next year, then 100 families, then 200, 400, 800, 1,600. And then started taking donations in 2007 and have actually now fed 40,000 children for the holidays.
Wow.
Very proud of that.
Doesn't that give you chills? That gives
So
me chills.
we do big baskets of food. We wrap it up like a Christmas present. We put toys in there, and we identify families that literally will not have a holiday meal without our intervention. And another story. I delivered a basket, and about a 9 or 10-year-old girl answered the door, and she said, "Is this from Santa Claus?" And I said, "I don't know, maybe." And she said, "I knew it. I asked him, so Mommy, because Mom couldn't work." And then her her mom came to the door with a brand new baby. She was pregnant. She hadn't been working. Started crying, of course. We all started crying at that point. But, you know, so that's our basket brigade. Like Pam, we also do a backpack brigade, and we've done thousands of backpacks for at-risk children, filled with school supplies. And you know, I want your viewers to think about something. 1 in 5 families are living, or 1 in 5 children are in poverty. And imagine being in school and looking over and seeing, you know, obviously a child better dressed, which I'm so amazed by that you do that with the clothing, but then not having the basic school supplies to get through, to be a success in school, or even to be a success in life, a child needs basic school supplies. I mean, to me, it's just unthinkable that exists in this country or in this wealthy city that we live in. So it makes me a little crazy, and we're doing at least 1,500 backpacks again this year. And then our last initiative is the Teddy Bear Brigade, and we give thousands of teddy bears to the Sarasota and Manatee police departments, so that for the officers to put in their cars. And when when an officer encounters a child that's experienced some trauma or needs comfort, they have one of these teddy bears. And not only does it comfort the child, but it also allows the police officer to bridge that gap. So they're not afraid of the police officer, and if they ever need help again, they're not going to be afraid to reach out. So that's what we do.
And God, and look at that picture. Well, you guys are doing amazing work.
Thank you.
And my story, when I was working for the Boys and Girls Club, it was Thanksgiving. And in the basket, on top of all the goodies, they put like a Beanie Baby or something. And we dropped the basket off. I knocked on the door, and a little boy came out, and he looked at me, and it just so happened to be a bear with angels. And he goes, "Are you an angel?" And I'm like, "Oh, wow. No." And he goes, "Because I prayed for food last night."
Wow.
That's right. They can't learn when they're hungry.
That I'll never forget, never forget. But that's the amazing work that you're doing. And,
Thank you.
the programs for the summer learning, again, if you know a child in need, definitely go to the website for the Community Foundation of Sarasota County, and it links to various different formats. But figure out what you can do. Can you help one of the schools out?
We also have Summer Learning Day is going to be July 14th, and the Community Foundation, through a donor, has 42,000 books that we're going to be distributing throughout the community. And when you were talking about Boys and Girls Club, it made me think of it. So they'll be one of the organizations that will be distributing books.
Wow.
The Housing Authority will be doing it. The Summer Learning Academies at the schools will be doing it. So these families, they don't have libraries at home, so start building those home libraries. So 42,000 books to help them keep reading over the summer.
And it's so important. And just to throw in Goodwill, what we do also is called the Good Readers Program.
Yes.
And we've gone into Alta Vista and many of the other schools and different programs, including the Boys and Girls Club, Girls Inc., just for girls, and bring books, and our Goodwill ambassadors come and read to them and also give them books to take home. Again, this is an important issue when we're talking about 1 in 5 children living under or beneath the poverty level.
And it takes so little. I mean, literally $25 is a backpack filled with school supplies,
Right.
or $30 is a complete holiday meal. At least
That's 2 lattes.
Yeah, forget. And
Think of it that way.
With our organization, every dime goes to the supplies or the food. I handle the operating costs, so literally every penny goes to help.
100%.
And so, there's no excuse really to not help here. There really isn't.
I believe it.
And the educators will tell you too that while tutoring and those services are wonderful, having a child just be able to come to school, as you both said, on the same playing field with a backpack, with the supplies, ready to learn, that is all about self-esteem, like you said, Pam. And if they don't have that, then, you know, they're not in a good position to even learn.
Yeah, I grew up, we barely got by, but I remember every beginning of school, I got a new outfit and shoes.
Of course.
And that's, I literally, that's what I remember, and it's so important. And the ruler, I don't know, it was like a little plastic thing with the ruler
And then you think to do the haircuts and I mean, that's just brilliant.
The-
I mean,
well,
it's
the
so
dental-
critical. It's
the
so
dental-
critical.
dental
yeah.
alone.
It's
So any
fantastic.
dentist out there, please contact Pam.
Yes.
I mean, imagine
It's-
sitting there with a toothache
Yeah.
in school.
Yeah.
I mean, that's huge,
Yeah.
and it's probably the last thing on their list, those
Yeah.
families' list, to be able to go to a dentist.
Yeah.
That's
Haircuts.
amazing.
One of the most touching testimonies we had was we do their back to school picture, and we learned early on about the family portrait, that many of these families don't have a family portrait. And we had Barbara Banks, who's a renowned photographer in town, take a picture of a mom with her little girl. And when the mom left, she slipped her a note, and Barbara still has the note on her phone as the screensaver. And it basically said that she was just diagnosed with brain cancer, and her daughter doesn't know yet, and she's given 6 months, and this is the first photo ever of her daughter and her professionally done that her daughter will have as a keepsake for the rest of her life. And we realized at that moment the impact. You know, and Barbara said, I get why I'm here now. It's not because I'm a renowned photographer and I know how lighting hits a face and the best quality ink or paper. It's because I just made a difference in the life of that child forever. And it's like those little things that we take for granted. I have shoeboxes full of family pictures that I don't have time to get in an album.
Yeah, right.
One picture made that much
Right.
of a difference.
Right.
I hope that you have enjoyed listening to our wonderful guest and that you've been touched and that you want to do more. Definitely reach all the different organizations we've mentioned. But to hear more, actually at 11 o'clock today on WSRQ radio, we will be airing even more information, because that's a whole hour we'll be able to talk, and also to reach our wonderful guest on Suncoast Living Magazine next month. We will be providing additional information, and hopefully we can talk about some of the successes. But before we leave, I do want to mention Goodwill has a great event coming up called Little Black Dress. So tickets are on sale now, and every time you support Goodwill, and in this case also the Girl Scouts, we love our partnership with the Girl Scouts, we are able to provide programs and services and help people find jobs, because if you don't have a job, you don't have a roof over your head or food on the table. So thank you for shopping and supporting Goodwill, and thank you for supporting everybody here. Make a difference. Definitely reach out. Everyone can do one good act of kindness and goodwill in our community. Thanks, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday.